extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refinedivinepsychic.com.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday Only, plus other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 64, Wednesday sunny with a high near 87, and Thursday rain with a high around 83. Discover perfection at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. From Philly steak to crispy chicken, every bite is exceptional. Add freshly fried fries or rings for a winning combo. Visit MavericksBeef.com or find them off Lexington and Roseville. Unforgettable sandwiches. Maverick's Real Roast Beef.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. I hope everyone's staying cool out there, as the temperatures are pretty warm out there in Twin Cities land. So hopefully everyone is staying cool and enjoying the nice weather too. At the station today, I just it's like you kind of get to a point of like enough's enough. Nothing bad, but the work day gets to you, whatever else, and just to be able to go outside and have that wonderful sun on you, even for like 5 minutes or something like that. I love that. It felt so good, and it's being so used to having nothing but cold for the past, even though it hasn't been snowy, it had been cold, and it's nice to be able to have some nice warm weather. But hopefully, we're not doing too much. And I do feel bad. There's some wildfires that are in Minnesota right now. A couple of my friends are being affected by it. I hope everyone is safe out there. That's scary stuff. For sure. I wanted to bring on my friend Char Savoie, Psychic Medium. You may have heard her on other radio shows, such as this one. And we wanted to talk about a couple things tonight. And, we just haven't had a good conversation about aliens in a long time, like a real deep conversation about that. And I figured, let's do that tonight. Let's see what happens and kind of get deep in the woods. Love to have your thoughts on it as well. Though I'm not taking calls tonight, you're more than welcome to put in the comments any questions that you have, any thoughts, because I'm not going to speak for Char. I certainly don't come from a position of being like I know it all. I don't know anything. I'm learning. So definitely enjoying that. So I'd like to welcome Miss Char Savoie. Char, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me again. It's been a while since I've been on here, so it's kind of nice to be back, and I'm excited to have a chat again. And I was just thinking, like, as the intro was playing, how our conversations since we've known each other personally have changed. We started off just like strictly, talking about spirits and ghosts, and now we've gone into this whole other dimensional conversation about things that we talk about. And it's so cool to think about the evolution of where we've come and how we look at the paranormal.
It's such an interesting point, and I have thought about this often too. The idea of where we started, where we ended up, what's left, what's to come as well. That's a big part of it as well. And that's that, the idea, I think when we all met, and I remember, I mean, we've known each other for a long time. And one of the first places that we've ever really known each other, I just like my earliest memory is Menomin Paracon up in Menomin, as it happens. So imagine that. Imagine Menomin Paracon. I meant to say Shooting Star Paracon. And it's really interesting because the thing about that is that you would never expect that this is where we'll be at. And
Right.
It's one thing too about a few years into like our teaching and stuff, and we're going to really cool locations. We have those 18 minutes. That is one of the most sacred things in my life, to be honest. I know it means a lot to you. But then there's Bigfoot, and then there's aliens, and that wasn't on my bingo card. That's for sure.
No, it wasn't. But man, the experiences and the adventures and the experiments and the things that we have done in this field together has been, you could have told me this 5 years ago and I would have looked at somebody and said, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. So I'm honored and I'm blessed, and, thank you for being a part of that. 'Cause I think we've had some pretty phenomenal experiences. And I like the fact that we push each other. We keep pushing each other farther, like think about this and think about that, and let's try this and let's try that. And so I think that's my favorite part, is that there, it's not just like, oh, one and done and we're moving on now. It's like, no, what else can we do?
Well, and that's the thing I was just thinking about as it happens, which is really interesting that you bring that up, and not surprising either at the same time that you bring it up as well, is the evolution from that kind of contact. Because it wasn't like, oh, look, there is, and we've talked about this a number of times, our Bigfoot sighting that we had with the packs. It wasn't like, oh, well, that was interesting. Let's hope something like that. And see what happens there. I just have to say real fast, apparently we're not on the air. Just so you know, I think it's aliens. We're on the internet, but we're not actually currently on the air. So I need to quickly do a quick text to Brett, who is the mastermind. He somehow found out that we're not on the air. So and I think it is aliens. There's no other possible explanation. We knew that they knew we were going to talk about them tonight, and here we are. And they don't want their secrets to be told, Char. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what they do. I'm pretty sure it's them. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, exactly.
It can't be you.
Why not? Exactly. And so yeah, that was really something I find the best part of it is like once it happens to us, we're not done with it. We want to know more about it. We want to experience it again, but we also want to be able to know what is it that we're experiencing, so that it's not just experiencing it again, but it's actually to build upon it, and to kind of to learn more from it and grow from it personally for each of us.
Well, and I think that's the whole thing, is like the universe is so big, energy is so big, and it exists on so much more than what our humanness can understand, see, feel, hear, whatever. It's just there's so much out there that if you can somehow tap into that frequency and that vibration of, was it aliens or Bigfoot or whatever, like there's things to learn, there's things to figure out, and there's things to experience. And it's not just thrill seeking, it's understanding the universe. And to me, when you understand the universe, you understand yourself, because you are the universe.
I think that, once again, I think that's a really good insight, because the one thing that you brought up that I'm glad you did is it is not thrill seeking. It's there is no it's not like knocking something off of a list, like, oh, look what I've done now, but it's more like, and the way that we've been shown through folks like Greg Yost and Denise and Ernie Pack about communicating with forest people is one of that. I think if we had that intention in our minds of thrill seeking, we wouldn't see them.
Right. Totally. And that's the whole thing too. And you've mentioned this quite a few times too. Like, what we do isn't a hobby. It isn't just something to go out and do. It's a lifestyle. Yeah. And if there are two people in this world that have taught me about this being a lifestyle, is Denise and Ernie. I mean, yes. They live and breathe this 24/7, but from a place of, that's just their life, that they connect to it. That's just who they are. And I am so in awe of both of them and just adore them. And I've learned so much from them, just watching them be connected, and just, this is how it is. This is how it is. It just is what it is. And, and I think people overthink it. You overthink it too much, and you ruin it. And you just have to be in the moment, be in the energy, and just be a part of it. And you have amazing experiences when that happens.
You really do. And I one of the things too I really appreciate about what they're doing, and I hope I emulate it in some way myself, is, and you could say, how many times they have people heard me tell the story about West Point and Bigfoot, so that might make my point a little off here, but because that's just an incredible thing. But every little thing that happens, you're not posting about it, I'm not posting about it. I mean, it's just like, some things are really meant for ourselves here. Like, it's not meant for public consumption. It's more of, we were blessed enough to have certain things happen to us. It's not about showing off to the world of what we're doing. It's more like we have been given this window to look through and be a part of, and that's the trust factor to it.
Exactly. It's not that, we went out and had an experience that we need to exploit and tell everybody about. And yes, we talk about it, but that wasn't the purpose. Our purpose was, we had a sacred moment where an energy being, whatever that is, trusted us and connected with us, and felt that we were safe enough to come forward and show themselves to us and be in the same space of us. And to me, that's sacred. And that is so beyond just a thrill. I mean, I can't ask for more than that. It goes that way, whether it's aliens, Bigfoot, spirits, whatever, that they trusted us enough that they saw that we were, giving them sacred space to be, and that they were able to come into that space.
The idea that when we each started off, I mean, when in our journeys are intertwined, they're also separate, totally. and the starting off, and I think to myself about what paranormal, and I asked this question last night on the show when I had Jeremy York and Debbie Romero on. It was like, what does paranormal mean to you? What I should have asked, now that now we're talking like this, does your description of paranormal mean something different now than when it did when you started off?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not even the same. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, I don't even know. Like, the evolution of it all has been insane, but so much gratitude for it. I mean, not a lot of people get to this point where they get to have these experiences. And so I'm very grateful that I've been, connected with people, like you and the Packs and other people that have are on that same wavelength. And we've all kind of pushed each other to move forward into that. And that's amazing. And I don't know. It's kind of mind blowing. Like, even at this point, it's a little mind blowing. And so even the word paranormal doesn't mean the same anymore. And I'm like, I don't even have a word for what this is.
No, there's, and I think that's also really good. And I know I've been saying that to pretty much everything that you've been saying, but it's true of like it's a different, and folks, I hope you all can appreciate and understand that we're not trying to talk as if we are above anyone else or elite or anything like that. Honestly, that is not what it is. Everybody can there's people who can do a lot more than what we've experienced. There's also people who will probably listen like, I would love to have those opportunities. You can. That's the thing. You can do it. Don't ever think that you can't, but there's always, I think really, and this is the lovey-dovey part of segment 1 of GhostBox Radio, is that you do have to have love in your heart. You do have to have love for the entities that you are trying to reach, and you have to be very honest with yourself and them about what your intentions are. And in fact, Ernie put into the comments, he said, let me get to that here real fast. I can't pick it. I guess I can't read his comment. Your intent has a direct relationship to what you will experience. And exactly. I mean, I think I've always known that, but when we were out in West Point and we were seeing how they're operating, and we just all fell in soup because we do all kind of operate the same way, but it was to see it right there and then and see how that worked. That was just incredible.
Yeah, and I think if I can put it, like what you said too, we're not trying to like say nobody can do this or anything like that. Everybody can do what they want to do. If you want to do ghost hunting, paranormal investigating, whatever you want to do, you do it your way, but we're just saying we've found that there is more, and there's more in depth, and that it's amazing. And if you want to do it, it's there. So by no means are we trying to say that. So I agree with you on that part. But I think the part that makes sense to people sometimes when I explain it this way is like, as a medium, I can sit down and I can talk to grandma, at my house, at my office, or wherever, a coffee shop, wherever I can talk to grandma, right? And it's because I have that intent that I want to talk to loving grandma, or she could have been cranky grandma. I don't know. But, I have this intent that I want to talk to grandma. And so that's my intention. And I connect to that energy. It works relatively the same to connect to Bigfoot or aliens or whatever. You just have to be in the right frequency, the right vibration, and the right intent to get there. There's no difference, it's energy. It's all energy. And so it's just connecting into it. And so just like a medium can connect to it, you can connect to it. It's just slightly different depending on what entity you're looking for.
And it's such an elevation to it too, where they're going to be able to detect when you're not authentic either.
Exactly. And I think that's the key too, is like the authenticity and the intent, and to me be upfront, because let's be honest, when we went out to Fort Duffield, we didn't know what the frequency and vibration of Bigfoot was to connect to. No. We wouldn't have known where we needed to get in there to meet him until we put ourselves in that frame of mind. And then he was like, okay, you're good people. I'm coming forward.
Yeah, very much so. Why don't we do this, Ernie? I know you love it when I say that. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, I want to continue this conversation. We got some stuff we want to talk about that's coming up this weekend. Make sure that you have a chance to take part in that. Anything on your mind, put it into the comments. We'll get to it. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lilliput is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky?
Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilliput.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lilliput.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday only. Plus, other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And if you're watching us on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook, I would like to ask you all to consider sending me some stars. And the reason why I'm going to ask that is because it helps the algorithm of Facebook to get us out there to in front of more people. And we'd really appreciate that. We're trying to grow this community. Would really appreciate if you could send a couple our way. That makes a big difference. We've seen a lot of growth already. And it helps us out a great way. Also, another way to support is signing up for our Patreon. GhostBox Radio does have a Patreon. It starts as low as $3 a month. And what you get on there are early release episodes. You also get episodes that go back about 10 years. A lot of great subjects that we haven't talked about on this current iteration of the show because a number of the people that we talked to sadly are no longer with us. So that's patreon.com/GhostBox Radio. We have with us Psychic Medium Char Savoie. And before we go any further, Char, we got an event coming up this weekend, and I'm really excited for it. In fact, first of all, I'm feeling well. I'm not feeling unwell at all. There is no cats that are terminally ill, so I feel like that there's knock on plastic over here. I'm going to be there. What is the event?
Oh my goodness. Well, good. I'm glad you're going to be there. So we've missed you the last 2 times. Understandably, though, however. So this is the Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair along with the Maria Shaw Bloomington Convention. It's over at the Doubletree by Hilton, Minneapolis Airport Hotel, 2020 American Boulevard from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Maria's going to have a couple classes and her crossing over gallery, which her crossing over galleries you've been in, they're phenomenal. Yep. She is amazing. And then there is a bunch of readers, mediums, psychics, tarot cards, oracle cards, Reiki people, craniosacral therapy, all kinds of like different practitioners that will be there as well. I'll be doing readings throughout the day, so I'm excited. It'll be fun. It's always a good time, and you are going to be my very special guest to do the practitioner meet and greet, which is like of one of the favorite things that people get to do. So you will MC that for me, and that was right away in the morning, where all the practitioners talk about what they're offering, who they are, and everybody that enters into the room puts their name into a drawing, and then we draw for like free services and stuff at the fair that day. So it's kind of fun. Goodie bags for the first 20 people. I don't think I missed anything, but I think that's it.
And the thing about these type of fairs, you always have incredible practitioners. This time around, you're going to have some new practitioners that haven't done the fair before. So variety is the spice of life. So that's cool.
Yes, unlike other fairs, I try really hard to not oversaturate on certain modalities and stuff, because I don't want it to be like all tarot readers, or all oracle readers. They're all fantastic and wonderful, but it's nice to have a variety and to like try things that maybe you've only heard about or you've never heard about, like emotion code, craniosacral therapy. Some people are like, what is that? We've had in the past, we have past life regressions. We've had, IV, Renee did her IVs for health and stuff. So there's always something brand new. Those two will not be there this time, but there's always something new. And that's what I really pride myself in doing, is bringing a very wide variety and fun.
And what are you going to be doing at the fair this time around?
I am doing my soul alignment oracle card reading. So it's kind of like talking to your spirit guides, and they're kind of going, hey, remember that thing that you need to work on?
Right. No. Oh, well, and I'm happy to see that. And I know you've been doing this the last few fairs, that you're actually being able to practice and do some stuff there. And because I know how much that means to you. So I'm excited to see that. And some new practitioners, some in all your other favorites are returning as well. And then Maria Shaw and that crossing over gallery is that's something else. That's very, very beautiful, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. She's very, very gifted medium.
Absolutely. Let's see, Savannah in the audience, she asked the question, how often do you host your fairs?
Maria comes to town 5 times a year. So she'll come back in August, October, and December this year. And then,
Okay. That's cool. And to once again, and I had this up on the screen for those who are listening on the radio, because we are back on, go to charvinityfairs.com to get more information. If you're on Facebook, there is a wonderful Facebook page, Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair. Go look that up and like it, and you can see all the information about it as well. It's gonna be a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to it very much. It's going to be a lot of fun, as it is every time. And like you said, I haven't been to one of these since the summer, I think, and so it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to seeing people I haven't seen in a very long time. A lot of the practitioners and stuff, because when you go to these, you just become friends with them. They're just so nice, and it's a great atmosphere, and it's a very calming atmosphere at the actual hotel. So yeah, definitely. Yes. That's very
well.
cool.
And you've had lots of people that have come for you the couple times that you haven't been there. So please come see Greg. He will have a table as well. Come chat with them. And so I'm sure hopefully everybody will show up again this time to see you.
I promise I'll be there. Every time I'm sick or with poor Linus, and I get to, this person, we're looking for you. You didn't, sorry. It's amazing, but I appreciate everyone come out. But it's worth it, just for the fair itself. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm glad that we're able to talk about it. And we're just talking about all sorts of alien and Bigfoot stuff tonight. Anything that's on your mind, put it in the comments. Ernie says this, and I think this is very important. And this is a shift for me over the past 5-6 years. You can gather evidence with cameras, gadgets, recorders, etc., but to have a meaningful experience that touches you spiritually, you must bring a high vibration and positive energy. I
So
couldn't agree
true.
more. Yeah.
It is so true.
And that's
You know,
something.
and
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, and that's like life advice. That's life advice right there. And you know, Denise and Ernie, they live that statement right there. Like that's just them. They live that every day, and that's how they're so connected, and they're just amazing people. But that's how they enjoy life, and they do things. And I mean, you got to have the right intention for anything.
You do, and I think something that we teach in our class, something that I wasn't, you know, I mean, I was I still am. I love the gadgets to a certain degree, but you know, there's a point that what is more important, being able to experience something or hoping that something comes through the device and you miss it because you're so focused on that device. And that would be a shame. That'd be a shame if we, you know, if I missed the stuff that happened in West Point or that where we were the next night because we were so focused on the gadgets. Alternatively, it was also like the spirit box that was a big piece in what we call our 18 minutes. So I mean,
Right.
there is a balance there, but it has to be a balance. And far too often, Char, I feel like that we see people who are really more towards the gear and the gadgets, which really, you know, every time you're just like, maybe lay off them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're great. They have their purpose. They definitely help in the whatever you're doing, but I think they shouldn't be the focus. Like if you can set it down and leave it and let it do its thing, and you know, but and in the other case too, with your spirit box, it's an extension of you. Like that's your connector to the other side, just as like a tarot card reader uses tarot cards. Like that's your connector. So you're on a different level with that piece of equipment than other people are. So again, you know, it's what are you doing with it and how are you using it? So I think it is just, you know, being in the moment. And I learned that at the Palmer House doing the tours, watching everybody looking at all their equipment stuff, and I'm like, did you see the shadow standing next to you? Did you see that happen? And you know, it was like just be in the moment, like watch around you.
Absolutely. And that was always the thing that we talked about, right? Is that you know, it's always fun to say you're the biggest tool in the room, you know.
Totally.
Because you are the tool. You're the one that, and once you start having less of like the EMF is going off, therefore there must be energy, and your body is the one saying there's energy in here.
Right.
That is that's going to be a game changer in how you investigate. And it's not even no longer investigating, it's how you experience.
Right. Well, and I think there comes a point too, is when you have all that equipment out and you're like so hardcore on this equipment doing things, it's kind of degrading. It's almost like you're making whatever you're trying to connect to a performing monkey. You know, do this for me, do this for me. I don't believe you're here unless you do this for me. And it's like, it's kind of degrading. I mean, if you think about somebody in life that actually said, I can't believe you do anything unless you can do this.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do I have to prove that I can do this when I'm over here doing all this over here? You know, so again, it's you have to be in the mindset of whatever you're connecting to has emotions, has feelings, wants to be acknowledged in just the same way you do.
I learned over time as my paranormal had changed, so to speak, that it's very much that I listen back to old recordings of Spirit Box and be like, this is Freddie. Can you say Freddie's name? It's like, do you, like you said, you don't go up to people and like, Char, can you say Greg's name? You know, it's like, and it is because you're right. It does become a bit like, and you see different investigations on television and stuff like that, and it's and you know, it becomes more like the trained chimp sort of thing, where you know, like you know, ride the unicycle now, and that's not what this isn't at all what it is, and that's something that you know, what's nice when we do events is that we're in a position when we see people doing that, we can very politely say to them, that's probably not you may not want to do it that way. Would you like to be done that way? And be able to kind of help them understand why that's not the way to do it. And it's important to try to help people and get them to understand. Don't forget, these are people that you're talking to.
Right. It's not like when somebody comes, again, I'll go back to Grandma, come back and sit down with me. And I'm like, hey, Grandma, can you flip the lights on? Can you flip the table? Can you pull my hair? Can you do this or that? I don't ask spirits to perform during a mediumship reading. So I wouldn't do that in any other way. I mean, that's just not how, that's just in my head. That's just not how it works.
No. And that's something that it's interesting to watch how people, what they consider that to be. And I don't know, that's all part of the learning curve, isn't it? When we do this, and I hope that, I certainly can raise my hand and be like, I've done that. I've said that. I've done stuff like that in my paranormal career. Now,
right.
I'm at a place that I understand better, and that I want to, that it's like a partnership when we're talking with spirit. It's not. So yeah, I don't know. I love it. It's something that.
Yeah.
And
I think it's easy to fall into that trap of asking those common questions. It just especially when it's quiet or you're not sure, if something's connecting or not. It's easy to fall into that trap, and that's okay. It's just, don't get stuck there, and I think about the time that we went squatching. It's like we didn't have equipment out, we didn't have anything out, and it was like, I think the intent was they just want to connect. They're not here to document us or film us or like capture us or exploit us or anything like that. I'm not saying that's what everybody's doing when they do it, but they saw the intent that we were there to connect. And we connected with far more than what we had even thought about. I mean, I don't even know if we had a thought about what was going to happen when we went out there, but that was not the thought I had before we went out there.
You're talking the last time that we went? Yeah. Which I mean, I've got to ask you, what happens in situations when when things the things almost look like they're going a bit south?
Well, and that's a good question, because were they going south, or were we just getting nervous because it was more than what we expected? And I think about that. Yes, it made us a little anxious and unsure because there was a lot coming at us at that location. There was a lot happening that we did not intend to go out looking for, but again, because we have that intention and because we carry that thought with us, that it leaves it open for anything to connect to us, that we put the intention out. And we've put the intention out before. And remember, time doesn't exist, right? So if you put the intention out that you want to connect to aliens, maybe they don't come that night, but they might come another time, because their time doesn't exist.
I do think, and something that people should understand and respect, I think too, for yourself, is that once you get to a certain point that you are getting in those energies, just know that your beacon is very bright. So, and if you have two, and I'm just gonna be honest, you have two people out there with super bright beacons, you're calling in the Starfleet. You're calling. I mean, it was a lot going on, and that's what I think. That's what we want, is be able to have a bright beacon, to be able to say we want want to help, we want to do whatever. And there's stuff that I saw that night that I will never forget. And I do think that there was a lot of, I was more concerned about, we're in the woods, and I wasn't as concerned, even though there was some scary moments with like a thought of Bigfoot or anything else. I was more also concerned about animals. I was concerned about there's people, who knows who's lurking in these areas. And I also, what's that?
Right. The people.
the people, and that's something that's a real problem, and that's really scary. And then when you turn around, and we got to get to break here in a second, but I'll never forget us quickly walking back to the car, and all of a sudden you just stop, you grab my arm and you stopped, and anyone who knows me knows you don't touch me, but you grab my arm, and you're looking back, I'm looking forward, and I thought, I don't want to turn around. I mean, because there has to be something for you to stop. And I turn around, and as I turn around, because of was it a full moon that night?
It was.
It was a full moon that night, and you could see the moon was coming. The moonshine was coming into the forest very well, and it was up against a tree, a big, well lit against the bark of the tree, and there goes across this shadow with a body, a long neck, and an egg-shaped head, and it just moves across. And that I will never, and the trajectory that it was going towards the car. We couldn't go direct that way. We'd have to do a path that kind of curves around a few more times. Whether it's scary or really not scary, it was scary. You know what I mean? It was something. It was something else. We got some stuff in the comments here. I want to be able to get to those, as well as to have this conversation, but I knew to get a break in. Folks, don't go anywhere. This is a great conversation, and there's a lot more to go. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lilliput is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky? Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilliput.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lilliput.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday only. Plus, other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. It's going to just be me tomorrow night. We're going to do another paranormal chat. Let me know what's on your mind. Anything you want to talk about tomorrow? One of the things I'd like to kind of talk about, let me know what you're reading. I'd love to know if you're reading any paranormal books. I love to know about new books. I'd love to hear about authors that excite you because I'd love to have them on as guests. You know, it's just great. And there's been some really good books that have come out recently. We're going to get a number of those authors on the show, but let me know what you're reading. I'd love to know that as well. Also, for those listening on the radio, we weren't on for first, 6-8 minutes or something like that. I just want to say that you can go to am950radio.com. We're going to podcast the episode there if you want to catch the beginning or catch it all again. We're also always going to be on Spotify. So please check out. And we have all our episodes on there as well as going over to GhostBoxRadio.com, where we have a lot of the shows there, as well as you can get t-shirts and all sorts of good stuff. We are talking about Bigfoot. We originally were talking about aliens is what the title was, and we really haven't talked about aliens at all. That's going to be the next part when we title the episode talking about Bigfoot. I think that makes the most sense. We got with us Char Savoie, psychic medium, paranormal investigator. Don't forget that Char's Fair is coming up this Saturday, the Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair with Maria Shaw's Minnesota Convention. That is going to be happening this Saturday at the Doubletree by Hilton Minneapolis Airport Hotel. That's at 2020 American Boulevard, Minnesota. In Bloomington is where that is. It's going to be great. Let's see here. In the comments, we had Lynn ask the question. She said, do you believe Bigfoot is an alien entity, Char? What are your thoughts?
No, he's his own interdimensional being. Not alien, though. No.
And it's a good question. I'm glad that you asked that because I think, first of all, I like the idea that we're moving away from the idea that Bigfoot is some kind of animal, a missing link or something like that, because it really, from what we've seen, and I have a lot of authors on the show who've written a lot of books that lean towards a different direction with that, and that is quite all right. I love hearing their research and what they're doing, but we saw it. I've been touched by one. We've seen stuff that we couldn't understand. We've seen the eye shine. We've heard the sounds that they make. You've had one throw a rock at you.
Mm-hmm.
There is, and every time that we've had those experiences, it's because we have requested them to join us. Right. And so that's and in areas that aren't necessarily marked as like Bigfoot areas that have been seen. I don't know.
Well, and that's it. He's interdimensional. He can go wherever he wants to go. Just like, I go back to the same example. I can talk to grandma wherever I want to. So I can talk to Bigfoot wherever I want to.
It's a big grandma night, isn't
aliens. It? I don't know why. I just
a big grandma night over at GhostBox Radio. That's fine. It's a good analogy, though. It really is, because it is like, because it also highlights the fact that there isn't a difference. Everyone, and
right.
I was like that until I set foot in Fort Duffield. I was like, these are very different things, and that they needed to be approached very differently. And by the time we got done with that weekend, my personal opinion was, it's all about intention. It doesn't matter what they are. It's about our intention and who we want to talk to. Incredible.
Right. And their energies are all different too. So it's just like when you think about the people in your life, you have different people in your life. They have different frequencies. Like your parents feel a different way energetically. Your friends feel a different way energetically, even like different friends or whatever. Everybody has a different energy signature to them. And so the same thing is with like spirits and ghosts and Bigfoot and cryptids and elementals and aliens. They all have a different frequency and vibration to it. And so that's why, I don't think that they're aliens, because they have a totally different frequency whatsoever. And I've felt both frequencies and they're completely different.
They are. Excuse me. There's a lot of it's actually interesting of how something as big and hairy as the forest people that we had seen, to me, has been less and I don't want to say frightening, but less intimidating than the aliens that we have brought through on different CE5 experiences.
Yeah, to me personally, how I think is like with the Bigfoot and even elementals, and they have more of a they're not human, but they have more of the human concept of emotions and empathy and things like that, where aliens are just, they don't carry that. They're just very matter of fact. They're just very, we have a job to do. This is what we're doing. It's like, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It's like, there's no human emotion attached to it. They don't understand that it might hurt. They don't understand that we're scared. They don't get that. They just don't operate on that level. That's not to say they're evil or bad. They're just not built that way.
Do you think that when you say that, do you think of only grays, or do you think beyond that?
I mean, I think maybe possibly some of them have some empathy towards humans. I don't know if it's a gray or not a gray. I mean, I don't know. But I think some of them might have more of a compassion as a human race. Like, you should succeed as a human race. I don't think like on a one-on-one basis, they're going to be your best friend. Yeah.
And I've always had this, feeling that grays are foot soldiers.
Yeah.
That's more of their role in the hierarchy. And it was Adam, actually, I think it was Adam the other day had said that to me, that there's more alien species than what we know about, because people always talk about like the same four, and it's like, how couldn't there be? I think it's very astute of him to say so. But yeah, I think that's something that people should keep in mind, that that's the narrative that someone's giving out. Doesn't mean it's the only narrative. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, how many different ethnicities are there on Earth alone? And to think that there's only one that exists out in the universe.
I thought you were going to be like, how many grandmas are there in the?
It's a lot of grandmas in the world.
I hate to go back to the grandma thing, but different grandmas all around. Let's see here. Ernie says, when are you two coming to guest host one of our events at Fort Duffield? It's a good question.
We got to figure that out.
We got to figure it out, because we want to do it. We want to do it very much. It's going to be, folks, if you haven't done so already, go to Fort Duffield, find them on Facebook, like that page, find the Real Ditto House, like that page as well. That's Denise and Ernie Pack for both of them. They do not own Fort Duffield, but they maintain it, they help, and they make it a place that people want to visit. And there is so much. I feel like it's good. Like, my life is very busy at the moment, and I like that. But at the same time, I feel like, I'm really missing out on, especially this time of year, something is just like, get outside and just see who we can invite in. That's right. I just really want to do that, and because I want to learn and I want to understand, and I want to enjoy that, like moments like Duffield and other things that we've experienced. It's just, it's such a wonderful feeling, and it was such a, once again, more with the forest people, just a very almost, there was like a loving feeling, especially that second night for me. It
was amazing. Like, I I can't find words for it. It was so unimaginably beautiful, and I'm so grateful for all of it.
Yeah. It was, it's something, if something like that never happens to me again, I'm going to be just fine with the knowledge that it happened, at least at all. I mean, that's just one of those things that, it's whatever it's meant to be is meant to be. But, I can say to somebody that I've had Bigfoot touch the back of my head, and that was a big hand span, that's for sure. And then what we've seen with the eye shine and the fairies and everything else, just one of the best experiences of my life, for sure.
Kentucky's got it going on.
Sure does. Speaking of which, real fast before we go, we have about a minute and a half left here. I do want to let everyone know, I was talking with Ernie earlier in the evening. The newest episode of Haunted Discoveries is now available on YouTube, and everything we talked about tonight as far as interacting with Bigfoot actually is in that episode, and Ernie's in it for briefly, but I mean, with footage and evidence that caught on camera, what we're talking about is actually represented in that episode. So please go check it out, as we are coming to the end of the episode here. Once again, Char, where should people go on Saturday?
You should be at the DoubleTree by Hilton Minneapolis Airport Hotel, 2020 American Boulevard, Bloomington, Minnesota, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'll see you there, and I'll see you, Greg.
Be there. We'll have a great time. Come by and say hi. Char, as always, thank you very much. It was great having you on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great time. I was glad to be back.
We'll get you back on later. Everyone, join me tomorrow. Everyone, have a good night.